Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Do you have a point of sale system you can trust, or is it a real POS? You need Shopify for retail. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify POS has everything you need to sell in person. Go to shopify.com/system, all lowercase, to take your retail business to the next level today. That's shopify.com/system.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and there's 2 different levels that you can, subscribe to, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows. So if you are far away and you couldn't make our last live show, it will be on the website. We're going to record this future live show. It's going to be on Patreon, but also bonus episodes each month. You guys tell us all the time you want more episodes. This is a way for you to get more episodes. So you're going to get our basic Tuesday, Thursdays that we always put out, right? But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
I can't wait to talk about in detail some more stories because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
They just unsubscribed. This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. So if that is breaking some of your hearts, just go ahead and subscribe now. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/BloodyHappyHour.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
Well, what's the show called?
I think it's called Bloody Happy Hour.
Well, this is it. That's our show.
This is it. It's time to get bloody during this hour of happiness.
Yes.
In case you have been living under a rock, O.J. Simpson is officially dead and gone. He gone. He gonna find out who done did it.
Yes.
So.
Mita's maker and Gypsy Rose's husband came to social media and said everything is fine.
Oh, good.
That,
I was so worried.
That they're, he doesn't
gonna...
want to give too many details because it was all videoed up close and personal.
Like whenever
in their
he
documentary.
Like when he brought the camera crew to the prison when she was getting released.
All getting.
Wow.
We'll be able to see it in June.
This couldn't have been
on Netflix.
Some kind of like money grab.
No.
Well, we have a story today that I was going to do a while back, but didn't because I needed more information. And we've got more information, so now I'm doing it.
Let's do it. Where are we going?
We're going to Utah, but it's not that. It's just like the edge of Utah. It's like Utah, Nevada. It's still Utah.
It's still Utah.
I know.
It's still Utah.
And this happened in May 2022.
Oh, that was the other
Literally
day.
the other day. Yeah.
I remember, you told me the name. I remember the name, but I have no idea what it was.
This is the story of Dylan Rounds.
I know, but what do you do? Is he a shooter?
No. But that probably...
Is there somebody named Dylan that was a shooter?
Yes, Columbine.
No.
Yeah. Google that shit.
Eric Harris was Columbine.
And who was the other one?
Dylan
Harris.
Rounds?
I don't know.
Eric and Dylan, probably. Okay.
Now I gotta know. So, just Google it.
You're going to hear, y'all have heard Caroline's story multiple weeks in a row. Shout out to Caroline. She is helping a sister out.
Just be helping out. That's
Yes.
what we be doing.
My life is a little upside down right now, and I can't come up with stories, and so you are just being blessed with a double Caroline story, and hopefully I'll get my life together soon.
I mean, you know what? I'll just keep them coming. It's great. Oh, did I write the same thing twice? As you find out that
Dylan Keebold.
Yes!
What?
I got the weirdest weird-ass memory. Look, man, I do not have much of a memory at all, actually. But I think I remember, I don't even really remember names. I just remember names of
Killers.
So that's good. There you go.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. You can find us on Instagram at bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those too also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
Step into the unexpected with Cultastic, or How to Start a Cult Without Really Trying. A podcast where cult creation unfolds in the most unpredictable way. Join us on a unique journey into the world of theoretical cult formation. Unlike any other podcast, each episode of Cultastic is co-written in part using ChatGPT, and we let it decide our fate, good or bad. What makes Cultastic truly intriguing? We don't know what's coming each week. Together with our AI co-author, we'll discover and build this cult, one episode at a time, exploring various aspects of cult dynamics, leadership, and group psychology. Delve into themes of charisma, influence, and the power of group thinking. It's a blend of expert analysis, theoretical exploration, and the unforeseen twists of AI-generated ideas. Remember, Cultastic is an exercise in imagination and education where we weave a narrative one episode and one tenant at a time. Curious about where this journey will take us? Subscribe to Cultastic or How to Start a Cult without really trying on your favorite podcast platform or at roguemedianetwork.com. Let's build this mission to save the people of Earth, week by unpredictable week.
Ned Hillsdale, a hard-drinking, foul-mouthed ex-cop, turned private detective in the city of Chicago. He lives dangerously, loves intensely, and drinks harder than anyone. The very things that got him kicked off the force now make him the city's best detective. Set against the low rumble of sad jazz and the hum of underground crime, Ned Hillsdale, Private Detective, is available anywhere you get your podcasts and at roguemedianetwork.com.
Utah.
May 2022, 19-year-old farmer in Utah went missing. There was bizarre evidence. Maybe there was some suggestions of foul play. We were kind of like, you didn't know what was happening. And then he's in Utah. His family doesn't live there. So they race to go figure out what happened to him. And this story goes on. He ends up, it's like a disappearance, and it's going on and on and on until like literally this week. And then we find out more information. So this is who we are. Dylan Rounds, born August 1st, 2002.
So he was 20 at the time.
Yes.
'Kay.
20. Born in Idaho. It's,
That's it. Like
I
he's
know.
destined for
Candace.
not greatness.
Candace is his mama. Justin is his daddy. He was the oldest of three when he was about 4 or 5 years old. Parents divorced. The kids were then going back and forth between Twin Falls, Idaho, and Idaho Falls, whatever, with his dad. Basically, it's like 2.5 hours. They would go back and forth every now and then, whatever. His family says like he was such a hardworking kid. He's passionate, strong-headed, and his dream was to own his own farm. And it's just like he was fascinated by farming equipment, and he spent tons and tons of time outside on tractors. And they said, his parents said, they were like, he would grow pumpkins and sweet corn, and he would sell it on the side of the road in his hometown.
Love him.
And they were like, he was somewhat of a farming prodigy.
Yeah, he was a little homestead heritage kid.
Yes. And so they were like, he was always like tinkering and messing with tractors and all this kinds of stuff when he was young. And the mom was like, he was born to be a farmer, and he could drive a tractor before most kids were riding their bikes.
Oh, sounds like my friend's son.
Well, maybe.
So far.
Okay. So, mom was basically like, he was an old soul. He wasn't like interested in video games and doing those things. He just she always said he was born in the wrong generation, because he just wanted to work and wanted to have a business and wanted to be successful.
Yeah,
So
my friend's son got like a lawnmower thing for Christmas.
yeah,
like
and
a
then
little-
you have your little bit. That's just like
But he's like in
business minded or
4th
something.
grade. Like he loves
But
that's what he wanted.
Oh my
So he would be friends with Dylan Rounds.
I know he would. Well, Dylan attended Rigby High School in Rigby, Idaho. He was super focused on his future farming career. Here we go. By the age of 17, it was 2019, and he was also really close with his grandparents. And his grandparents helped him buy a large plot of land in Lucin, Utah. And this is at the very, very border of Utah and Nevada.
Okay.
So this area, Lucin, is referred to as a railroad community, settled as a pit stop for train lines to replenish their fuel. It is in the middle of nowhere. It's desert, sandy desert. If you want to live off the grid, you live there. And I think the population was 4.
Yuck.
Like there's nearby, like there was no gas station, no grocery store, no restaurant, no post office, nothing. So to get to the closest place, it said apparently this place had been abandoned in the 1930s. And there was only a handful of residents left. One was including Dylan. You had to go to the next town over to get anything. And in the next town, let's see, in this farming because he's doing farming, and I guess there's like certain times that's farming season, not farming season. You got to seed your things at some point. You got to not whatever. I'm not a farmer. I don't know this stuff, but he was wanting to take this position where he would like contract at other farms during his off season, but during his on season he would be at his Lucin, Utah, his own little farm, population of 4.
Okay.
Okay, so he'd be there, and then he'd contract other places. Okay.
How old is he now? He's still like 7 years old.
Yeah,
and
like
contracting farmers?
I think he left high school early to go do this.
To be FFA.
Yep. So May 2022.
20 years old now.
And he is just contracted at this land at wherever he was contracting to be a farmer at somewhere. He goes back to his property in Lucin, okay? So he doesn't have a house. He has a trailer. He's like, eventually I want to build a house, but right now I have like a camper kind of trailer type of thing. And he lives alone with the 3 neighbors he has that are who knows where. So a couple days after he gets back, he calls his mom, and he was like, oh, there's this strange man that I ran into. I was driving the truck, and he approached me asking for a ride, and he was like, it's like he just came out of nowhere. He was dirty. He was bloody. He was scratched up. And Dylan told his mom, he's like, I didn't feel comfortable picking him up, and I did not give him a ride anywhere, whatever. So he continued on, went to his property. And so the last day, let's see, we're still in May. So this is Thursday, May 26th. And Dylan talked to his parents and said that Mom said that he was getting really excited because he was about to do his first crop of the year. And Dad was like talking to him about different types of tractors and just all kinds of farming stuff. So he talked to them both on this Thursday, and everything seemed like totally fine, normal, whatever. And there's a town in Nevada, Montello, Nevada, that's the one that's really close. So it's like 30-minute drive, and that's where there's like 2 bars and a gas station and a grocery store or something, like 2 restaurants, whatever. Gosh. So you got to drive 30 minutes just to get there. So he was seen in this county or this town in Nevada, on the same day that he had talked to his parents. Okay, so this is on a Thursday. So he's seen there. This town is not much bigger, but it has about 35 people. Oh. Okay. He went into the Saddle Store Bar and Grill, and he went there for dinner, and he then went to Cowboy Bar and Cafe.
Oh, yeah. I feel like there's none of those 35 people are black.
Nope. And that was the last time anybody saw him out in public. Okay. So a couple of days later, it's Saturday, May 28th, and it's around 6:51 a.m. And Dylan had briefly spoke with his grandmother. Like I said, he's almost closer with his grandparents than his parents. So he's talking to Grandma on the phone. He's like, "Oh, it's starting to rain. I need to pull my grain truck into the shed."
I love him.
Apparently, if you got these seeds you're gonna plant. The seeds cannot get wet. If they get wet, they get ruined. So he has to pull this truck with all these seeds in it, grain truck, into a covered area. Well, he doesn't have a covered area because he only has the trailer. So he had recently, as however long he's been there, he had met this guy who had a shed he was like, "Hey, if it ever rains, do you mind if I park my grain truck in here so it protects the grain so it doesn't ruin my whole seed crop situation?" And dude's like, "Yeah, no problem." So, talking to Grandma, he's like, "Oh, Grandma, it's about to start raining. I got to go and drive the truck over to the shed." And it's not far. It's like a 5-mile drive. Whatever. Okay. Not too far. So the shed is off of his property. Apparently, important to note that. So, Mom calls right around the same time, just checking in. He's like, "Oh, can't really talk right now. I'm trying to get my grain in because I don't want my seeds to get wet. I don't want to ruin my crop season. Blah blah blah. All this stuff. Don't want it to spoil." That's the last time he spoke to anyone. Okay. So, typically during like a week, he would talk to his parents a couple times, not daily. He would, after he talked to his grandma, whenever she called and he was going to go take his grain truck to the shed, he said he would call her back. Now, typically for him, he would always he calls grandma all the time. They'd be talking all the time.
Yeah.
So grandma thought it was weird. She's like, well, he didn't call me back and he always calls me back. And so she thought it was more weird that she didn't call back. Now, she still lives over with where the parents live, and I don't know why they're closer, but they're just all closer. Okay. So he also has a friend named Justin, and Justin had not heard from him in a couple of days either.
Oh, man.
So they're like, okay, we know that he's just getting ready for his first crop, so we don't want to jump to conclusions. But when the next day comes around, Sunday passes, nobody hears from him. They've repeated calls, repeated texts, everything goes unanswered. Now they're like alarmed. So they, grandma knew some people who lived pretty close to Lucin, where his property was, and asked if they would stop by, go check on him. They went, stopped by. They're like, there's nothing. There's no sign of him. We don't see him.
Is his trailer there?
Well, yes, his trailer's there. So then finally the very next day, they all drive down, the whole family. This is on Monday, May 30th.
No.
So it's just 2 days after he was last heard from. So they drive down, and when they got there, they said that the farm looked as like he had vanished in the middle of the workday. His truck was parked out in front, and his camper was unlocked. It was empty. There's no sign of his car keys or his phone.
Wow. But his truck was there, but his car keys, but he didn't.
But because I think he must have, because it's
another
grain
car.
Truck had to have been like a different
something
truck.
Different. Okay.
Right. His like pickup truck that he drove to town, and then his
probably like a dump truck type thing.
Truck with seeds in it. I don't know.
So
his real truck is there, but his grain truck is not there. Okay, because it's under the shed where he parked it. Right. So they finally call the police, and they file a missing persons report and do all the things. Everybody starts searching. Police start asking Mom questions. Is it possible he's running away? She's like, absolutely not. Like this is his dream. He's been doing this since he's like 0. And like, no, he would not just leave this. Like, was he dating anybody? No. Was there any type of love triangle? No.
There was this weird guy, homeless guy.
This weird guy. Mom said he seemed to be content, just happy with his life. She's like, this was his dream. Nothing. He was going to be farming and living his life. No drug abuse, no substance abuse, no mental issue, no depression, no suicidal thoughts, nothing. Everybody loved him.
You know why? Because he lived off the land,
Dylan,
and he didn't have technology and cell phones.
Exactly.
And he didn't do all those things that depress you and make it all worse.
Mm-hmm.
There's the answer.
His bank account was untouched. His cell phone activity was non-existent. And that made it seem a little bit more sus. And the last time that his phone had pinged was about 9 hours after he had hung up with Grandma. Okay, that's important. Mm-hmm. So within about an hour and a half after they started their search, they found a pair of his boots discarded behind a dirt pile near the shed.
The shed where his
the
grain
was.
So where's the man that owns the land?
Law enforcement are like, okay, we think these boots have been here for like 48 to 72 hours.
Oh, how can you tell that?
They're law enforcement, April. They know everything, okay? So,
oh my goodness.
From where his grain truck is parked and where his boots were found, this is about 100 yards away. And they seem to have been just casually tossed out. Okay, this is what they said. So, the boots were found near the shed where Dylan parked his truck, his grain truck. based on his family, they kind of came up there like, okay, they were trying to think of like, okay, what could have happened? Like, what do we think has happened? So they're like, maybe he drove his grain truck into the shed, which was about 5 miles from his camper where he lived, which is not very close. And then he's like walking back to the camper on foot.
No.
And then they're like, well, why would you do that? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But did he have a ride? Like, how was he going to get back to his camper? Maybe he was just going to sit in the grain truck and wait for the rain to stop? I
mean, 5 miles, 5-minute ride, 10, 15, 30-minute walk.
For 5 miles, it would take...
I mean, he could walk it back.
Like
an hour.
You can do 3 miles in an hour. So you should be able to walk a mile in 15 minutes. Do the math.
Yeah. So 15 times...
30, 45, 1 hour, 15, hour and a half. Look at that.
Okay.
I'd be using my
that
fanny.
is a long walk.
Okay.
In boots.
So, they're
maybe
like...
he's a runner and it only take him 45 minutes.
Maybe he's a runner. He's a track star. Okay. But when they found the boot, they're like, okay, this does not seem accurate. So it makes no sense why you're going to walk without those boots. And... he was very, very, very particular about his boots. So these boots, it's like Bootgate. Like, it's a whole thing. So he basically he had one pair of boots. He would wear them until they were, like, falling apart. Then he would go out and buy the exact same pair of boots. Wear them until they fall apart. Exact same boots. Wear them until they fall apart. Like, that's...
Wow.
So it was a big deal and a big, huge clue that he wouldn't just discard of his only pair of boots, especially because he would most likely wear them in the rain until they fell off. You know, like if he was walking. Okay. And it was always the same particular brand, like the same exact boot. Okay. I hope they don't ever discontinue those boots. So police start looking at the boots closely, and they find blood on the boots. And they sent the boots in the lab, tested it, all the stuff. And then they were taken in for evidence. Parents were told they were going to be tested. Parents asked about, okay, what's the result from the boots that were tested? And then the police were like, well, actually, we're going to hold off on testing them because we need it for the cadaver dogs so they can use it for a scent.
Okay.
And the mom was like, I don't understand. If it rained, like the scent would be rained off of the boots if there's like that is. So she's questioning the police.
Okay.
And obviously you're in this tiny town of 4. You know, they probably have not
never done it
a
ever.
Thing ever in their life. So she's kind of critical of that, and she kind of starts trying to figure things out and trying to look into stuff. And she thought that was ridiculous and did not understand why they would not test the boots. But they finally, more people get to the farm, more law enforcement, more search and rescue. They're like stepping up the search, and because of the area, now the people are coming and trying to search and look for things, but they have not secured the area. People are walking around everywhere. Things are getting contaminated. Like, these police.
What about the damn pile of dirt?
I know. They
haven't done anything with it. They didn't just.
They're looking in mine shafts and caves. They're looking.
But not the pile of dirt that's right there by the boots.
Well, because I guess the
landowner said no.
Maybe. So then at this point, Mom is like, okay, let me think. Oh, I do remember him on the phone with me one day talking about this bloodied up guy asking for a ride. And they're like, oh, that's helpful to know. This is probably like within a day or two that she remembered this. And so they're like, okay, well, maybe there's a hitchhiker that came after him and whatever.
But didn't take anything? No.
We don't know. So, Dad. Oh, okay. So then Dad, he also remembers something, and it was at the first time that he ever visited Dylan in that city, Lucin, whatever it's called. A neighbor had been irritated at Dylan for a small accident, and the accident was apparently Dylan had backed his truck up into the gate of somebody's farm.
Okay.
Okay.
Minor,
whatever. So it was like a horse gate or whatever. And this dad remembers that the neighbor was frustrated and had come over to complain about it. Okay. So this is all going to wrap up here. The neighbor's name is James Brenner. Okay. That's the neighbor. He had already had some run-ins with police. Back in 2012, he had been sentenced to almost 3 years in prison for felony firearms charge. This is not the first time he'd been convicted. He's labeled as a dangerous, and he had served time for attempted murder, and once he beat up a man with a lawn chair.
But this isn't the same neighbor that he's parked his truck on the property. A different neighbor, right?
No.
Okay. The same neighbor?
Kind of.
Oh, shit.
You'll find out. Okay, so outside of first of all, I'm like, this guy, he's the only person I know that beat somebody up with a lawn chair is that brawl in Alabama. But
yeah,
who's to say? So beyond that, like there was no other issues between him and this dude, okay? Except that he did have like this violent temper. So, turns out, police discover that there's this trailer that is within this property. Next to it is this shed where a grain truck can be parked.
Mm-hmm.
But it has this horse gate around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this trailer where this James Brenner guy is living, he doesn't even own this property. He is a squatter.
Oh, shit.
And, nowadays, squatters be squatting. And you can just be squatting in any vacant house and live there, and it's your house.
Wow.
Except from Florida, because they changed that. But anyways, we'll go. I digress. So they find out it's not even his property, and they're like, why are you getting so pissed about this guy hitting your fence? It's not even your fence.
It's not even yours.
And so then they're like, this is everything's so strange. Like, what's happening? And it's not even, it was a big accident, and, like, it's not your property. You're literally just squatting there. Like, what is happening? So about a month later, June 16th, 2022, I guess this is James's trailer now. I guess this is his trailer because he's just been there for so long. And I don't know where the owner is. I don't know where the property owner is. I'm sure he just owns this, and he's like, he probably didn't even know.
Maybe it was Warren Jeffs.
Maybe. He probably didn't even
know
he
was in prison, and he just never.
That's true. He might not even know this guy's living in this property. Apparently, that's what a squatter is. You don't really know they're there. So they search the property. They don't find a gun, but they find, like, bullets and gun paraphernalia. They ammunition, a muzzle loader rifle, blah 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 blah. Then they search again for the second time because now everybody's getting suspicious, and they're like, okay, mom's making a big deal about it. They're like, there's got to be something. They search it again. This time they do find a gun. In this trailer. Mm-hmm. In this trailer, which is by this shed where the grain truck is parked, where the boots were
Who's
found.
searching? Mama searching now?
No, she just was, like, posting on social media, and she's just, like, putting stuff out there, like, because she doesn't think the police are doing shit, and she's like,
they're probably not.
Yeah, and she's like, y'all searched it, but did you really search it? Like, maybe try to search it, like, maybe do a more thorough search.
Yeah.
Well, and they find that there is a gun, but they could not pin it on him yet because but they were able to arrest him on possession of a firearm because since he is a felon, convicted felon, or had been arrested, he's not allowed to have firearm. So they're like, okay, maybe we think that he did it, but we at least can get him. We can at least get him on this. We can't arrest him on murder.
On a murder yet.
Right.
Okay.
So, on that same day that they found the gun, they found a lot more other stuff as well. I don't know if he just hid all of it or whatever. So then it was, I think, later that day, the next day, they came across even more evidence. And it was the discovery of Dylan's phone. I just know it was a discovery of the phone.
Okay.
On that same day. So it was around that property near the trailer. So, Caroline, keep reading. It was discovered in a nearby pond, and listen. Oh, shit. So he threw it in a pond. It's like I knew this it's so long ago.
Yeah.
But, so, July of 2022, James Brenner was officially announced as the only suspect in this disappearance of Dylan Rounds. Meanwhile, the family's still looking for him, like remains or like what's happening. Well, it turns out that on this phone, they ended up getting like probable cause. Now they have arrested him for the murder of Dylan. And it's because of what they found on the phone. The phone had somehow began recording. Posthumously. Posthumous.
Yeah.
That means after death.
Postmortem. I wonder.
And it showed James Brenner wearing a blood-soaked T-shirt. And
video recording.
Yes, his phone. Yeah, he had the phone. The phone started recording. Yeah, video.
He knew what he was doing.
I don't know. Why
Dylan.
would you? It would.
Maybe he was about to record a video for his grandma.
Apparently, it had recorded. It was like a 30-minute long thing. So he probably. I don't know. Wow. So they see the James guy. He's wearing a blood-soaked shirt. He's cleaning a gun. Videos on the phone, and they're like, how did this start recording? And the mom was saying, like, maybe it was like he took the phone out and he hit the wrong button, swiped something wrong. They don't have any clue how it started recording. So the time lapse was taken just 30 minutes after Dylan had spoken on the phone with his grandma. So it was like that quick. So everything that happened within like 32 minutes. And they still did not know what happened to him or where he was. So they have the guy in custody. This is when I wanted to.
They have blood. They have video.
Yes.
They have.
Yes.
But they don't know where he is.
Yes.
And can you convict without a body?
I don't know. In some states, well, Adam Montgomery was convicted, and they still don't have her body.
Okay.
That's his daughter. So I guess in some states you can't.
Do we have a murder weapon? No, because we don't know how he died.
We don't know. Yeah.
Shit, that's a hard case.
So, there were some other connections to him on the phone. Washing the blood off of himself, blood-soaked shirt, and blah blah blah. That I think at that point that was all really. That point, that's all we had, and they weren't letting anything else out.
And this is when, because they found all that real quick, and then it was done.
Yes, this was in like June, July 2022.
Okay,
that's whenever they find the phone, they get the guy there, and then it's like nothing, like crickets, because the parents are like, well, what do we do now? Like, obviously, like. Is there DNA? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that's going around. Like, was there some kind of a relationship, a jealous thing? Like, what happened? Was there?
Yeah, whatever. I need answers.
I know. So, turns out that we just found out, like, 2 seconds ago. Let me read this one part.
Was he the homeless guy, too? Was he the homeless guy and then went and squatted?
Well, yeah, he was a homeless guy and went and squatted.
Well, but is he the one that Dylan saw, I wonder?
Oh.
Like, could that be the same person?
Yeah. So, what they did was, let me tell you what he's charged. He was charged with aggravated murder. So he was charged. When he got arrested, he was charged, but they just didn't have the body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Charged with aggravated murder and abuse or desecration of a human body in connection with Dylan's death. And he agreed to a plea deal.
Oh, shit.
With police to lead them to his remains.
And usually when they do that, they get the okay from the family.
Yes. I would. Yeah. So, he led authorities to the location of Dylan's burial site.
And it was in that fucking pile that they should have...
On Tuesday, April the 9th.
Yesterday. What's today?
I don't know, but it was
Monday.
It was literally like the other day.
Today's the 13th. Wow.
Yes.
And where was it?
Family members were told around 11 a.m. that his body had been found. And we just know it's in a small burial site, and it was found around 11 a.m. Our family members were told at 11 a.m. Now, what we don't know is, we don't know, that's the thing, what happened, or maybe the police know. We don't know the deal that they made. We don't know the cause of death, because what's coming out in reports is that they're saying like it could possible, like it's possible remains, but I'm like,
it's him.
It's definitely his remains.
They have to say possible until they do the...
Yeah. But what's funny is that they said they're going to do
DNA.
The teeth matching, but I thought they said that didn't, I guess it doesn't match if you're bitten someone.
They can't use that to convict.
They can just use that to identify.
They were using bite marks to convict killers. And that is a sketchy science, but your tooth is your tooth. There's no way to... That's not sketchy science.
He was recovered in the remote western Box Elder County area of Lucin. Whatever the hell that means. This guy was 60-year-old James Brenner, who was just squatting in a trailer next to the property where he lived. And he was charged in 2023 with the murder and the abuse, but they never had his. But I guess they finally. I don't know. We don't know how they convinced him to talk or what kind of a deal. What the deal was. Maybe it's. I don't know if they have the death. Wait, are they Idaho or Utah? I guess they'd be Utah. Is Utah?
Yeah, Utah.
Utah I know Idaho has death penalty. Does Utah have death penalty? Either way, even if it does, maybe it was like they take the death penalty off the table and he's life in prison. Like, great. Yeah.
So it said that they actually knew each other and that he would bale hay for Dylan.
Well, then that couldn't have been that same guy, the hitchhiker guy. DNA analysis confirmed that it was his boots. Because they tracked down that his phone, the last signal was around the pond. So that's why they searched the pond. And
so there's going to be more to come with that.
Yeah, there's going to be more because it's like we just found out about the Brenner guy a year ago, and they didn't. And then it was like complete silence, and then. But whenever it came out this week that they found the remains and they were led to the remains by this guy, hopefully we will get more info and figure out what happened. But at least, like, that's kind of like, I mean, that's your closure in a way.
Shit. Yeah, almost. Maybe. And I guess for some, because we've had this conversation, like, I would still need to know why. And then how. Why and how. At least I got his body. And I can have the closure and bury him. But I need to know why and how. Like, what was your function behind your behavior?
Yeah.
And that, to me, should have been part of the plea deal. Like,
It
you
could
need
have
to give
been.
me, and they just haven't reported it. But what are you waiting on reporting that for?
I don't know.
I guess to confirm that it's actually Dylan's body.
There you go.
I'll ask a question and then answer it.
Yep. That's right. That's got to be exactly right.
So they get to have a funeral.
So at least they are like, he's not out there somewhere. But like, man, like you're in the middle of nowhere, and I think it's. I feel like there's gonna be some like some kind of something happening.
Because it's Utah.
I just have a bad feeling because like he was never
picture.
interested in dating. Like, but he could have just been like a asymmetrical or whatever.
Asexual.
He was very asymmetrical. And so.
But even if that's it, and little Brenner was ashamed of it, he's not going to say that. He's going to turn it around and say Dylan made a pass at him. Like, we're probably, even if he does.
These people, they're not even. I mean,
Dylan's a cutie. Ooh.
I know. He looks.
Dylan is a cutie, but that old man.
Yeah. That old man probably wanted to get him, probably tried to attack him. He was probably plotting, and he probably Dylan probably fought back.
He was 61 years old.
Yeah. Dylan was like, what?
19.
20, 22, 19?
I don't know math, yeah.
I don't either, but that guy's, like, gross looking. Like, he looks like the Unabomber. And he's a squatter. So his remains were found, and we will just have to wait to see
if that all comes out. But they can't leave it here. Like, they can't just say, okay, done, close case.
Can they?
No, they got to give us the reason.
Well, yeah, but will they?
Oh, my goodness.
We're going to have to go up to Utah. Hell,
Y'all,
I ain't never going to Utah.
And then especially the most rural part of Utah. I love Dylan. I love his heart. I love that his passion is nothing like any of the passion of these crazy teenagers now. He didn't want to have anything to do with the craziness. And then he just got taken advantage of for being his special him. He just didn't want his grain to get wet.
He just didn't want his grain to get wet. And he was so responsible. He was taking it into the shed. He already, I guess, talked to that guy a year ago when he got there. Or maybe he talked to... No, we don't know.
Okay. Well, hopefully there's a follow-up on that story and we'll know a little bit more what happened. It's so sad. But you know what? I was thinking they waited. They didn't hear from him one day, and then they didn't hear from him on Sunday, and they waited the next day to go down there. So they went down there on that Monday instead of like that Sunday. So I would have been like, I should have went down on Sunday. What if I could have prevented it or saved him? Or he was dead within 30 minutes of him getting off the phone with Granny.
Terrible.
That would probably make me feel a little bit better, I guess. Horrible. Okay.
Horrible. Poor
that was a good one.
Dylan. I'm glad that he's maybe at least got a little bit of...
Well, I'm glad Dylan wasn't the killer because I did like him. And that's a little bit of a suspect of a name, Dylan Rounds. He sounds like he would be a shooter. Dylan Rounds sounds like a shooter.
It sounds like a normal name. You're thinking rounds of like bullet rounds.
Yes, sounds like a school
and
shooter.
You're thinking of Dylan, who we just looked up to.
Yes,
know he
I
was
guess
Columbine.
so.
But Dylan.
What's the little kid that shot up the church?
Well, which damn church? I don't know. There's everybody's shooting up everything
In
nowadays.
South Carolina.
I don't even know about that.
The little boy looks like a little fetal alcohol.
Shot up a church? Oh, the racist one?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know.
I
Did
thought
they
that was
even do
Dylan
anything?
Rounds.
Whatever happened to this kid?
And they offered him a Whataburger on the way to the
Well, they do that shit to guys to keep you talking. I guess.
He was a little fetal alcohol looking kid. That's who I thought was Dylan Rounds this whole time.
Oh, no.
I was waiting for Dylan Rounds to go crazy.
Who was it?
What's that kid's name? South Carolina church shooter.
Is it Dylan Round?
Dylan Roof!
What?
That's what I was thinking of the whole time.
Roof? R-O-O-F?
Yes, his name is Dylan Roof.
I don't remember ever hearing about this.
My principal's daughter plays softball for that college, and she goes and visits.
Okay, don't name your kid Dylan because they're going to be some kind of a shooter or they're going to get murdered.
Yeah.
So.
Look. He's scary looking.
Yeah.
That I was waiting for him to be a shooter.
Whatever happened to him? Is he in jail?
I would hope.
Did he just say guilty and leave and get sentenced? Because,
Death.
Nicholas
9 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus 95 years. Charleston, South Carolina.
Is he going to be put to death?
No.
Just life in jail.
Wait, it says federal death, South Carolina. I don't know. Can you be tried 2 different things? Let's just cover the story. No.
I don't feel like talking about him.
No. Neo-Nazism, white supremacy,
Oh,
far-right
hell.
extremism, anti-black racism.
He's all the things.
But anyways, my principal goes down there and she is going to send me a picture of the church, like in front of the church. Because it's like this one
Yeah,
downtown.
that's the kid who just walked in and just started shooting.
Okay, well, I'm glad Dylan Rounds wasn't.
I'm glad Dylan Rounds was not Dylan Roof because I don't even want to look at that kid much. Let's talk about him.
He just had a birthday.
They all FLKs, those shooters. They're looking funny.
FLKs?
Funny looking kids.
Oh. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week on a whole new week of Bloody Happy Hour. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Goodbye, y'all.
Bye.